Walking with God. Welcome to the first episode of Reflections with me, Marie Bliss. And so today we are looking at this verse in Genesis chapter 5 from the verse 21 to 24. Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. After he begot Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Enoch were 365 years, and Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Amen. Now some context for you. Genesis chapter 5, which is describing the descendants of Adam. It tells us in verse 1 that this is the book of the genealogy of Adam. And so there is a pattern that we see in Genesis chapter 5. The name of the individual, how long they lived, and who they gave birth to that was significant in the lead up to what comes to be Noah. Then we are introduced to Enoch. And what I find interesting is that it wasn't new that people were calling on the name of God, because it was established from Genesis 1 verse 26, when Seth was born. It says, then men began to call on the name of the Lord, that out of everybody that was a descendant of Adam, out of everybody that lived in a time where it was established that people called on the name of the Lord, the author thought it significant that Enoch's life so stood out that he had to mention it twice, that Enoch walked with God. That was what he was known for. It made me wonder, when people mention your name, what comes up? Because everybody has something that is associated with them. Everybody has something that is linked to them when their name is mentioned. And we know it. If I ask you, who is the funniest person you know? Somebody's name comes to mind. If I ask you, who is your most caring friend? Somebody's name comes to mind. Why? Because the way that they are living, the way that they have acted, spoken, there is evidences that can point to the fact that they are caring or that they are funny. External evidences. It's not that they are funny inside to themselves. No. Outwardly, everybody has heard and seen that they are funny. All of this reminded me of something my husband, Minister Moses Bliss, often says. He says when we read the Bible, we read of the lives of various individuals, of various things that they did, that they experienced, and what was written about them. Then he gives this hypothetical question. If the Bible were to be written today, what would be said about you? Would it only be said that you were begotten by your parents and then begot your children? And I'm not saying that you have to have everything sorted out and figured out, but just walk with him. And let's go on to that bit in part 2. Let me not get carried away. So I encourage you this 2025, always remind yourself, as for me, I want to insert your name, walked with God kind of life. So I'm not going to do X, I'm not going to do Y. Or I'm going to do X and I'm going to do Y. So I hope you enjoyed this first edition of Reflections with me, Marie Bliss. God bless you so much, and stay tuned for part 2 as I go a bit further into walking with God.